here are the stats notes. This is going to be the last unit of your senior year. So only 6 more classes you can do this. The first one here, so we're going to talk about just the central tendencies today. So it's the mean, median, and mode. Hopefully you've heard of these before. So first is, just that, the measure of central tendency. I can't fit it all, so I'm just going to leave it there. So it's a single central value that summarizes a set of numerical data. There are 3 common ones, all right? So I know you've heard of these and you've done them probably simply with just a set of numbers. Today we're going to look at also a frequency table. So it might be a little bit different, but hopefully nothing too hard here in the end. So the mean is the sum, that means you add them all up, of all the data divided by the number of data points. Okay, so think mean, like, she's so mean, she's making me do math. Adding them all up is the mean. The median is the number, if the data set is odd, then the median is that middle value. So the way I remember this one is the median in the middle of 495, right? It's in the middle of the 2 beltways. So median is in the middle. The key here is it has to be arranged in numerical order. You can't just assume it's listed in numerical order. You must put in numerical order and then find the middle number, okay? If it's odd, it will be just one number. However, if the data set is even, it's going to be the average of the 2. Average is another word that just means mean. Okay, so you're going to add those 2 middle terms together and divide in half. The third one is the mode. So the mode, think mode most, right? And then mean, you're doing math. Median, we're thinking middle. Okay. So the number that occurs most frequently. Now, what if you're like, well, what if there's no value that occurs more than once? What if they all only occur once? Well, that's fine. Then you're just going to say there is no mode. Okay. It's also possible that you have a couple numbers that occur the most, right? So maybe you have a 10 that shows up 5 times in the data set, and you also have a 9 that shows up 5 times in the data set. So it's okay to also have more than one mode. You can have a couple modes. Okay, so you can have one mode, just one number that occurs the most. You can have no mode, where every single number occurs the exact same number of times. Or you could have a couple modes where 1 or 2 numbers occur the most. Okay, so either one is fine. Mean, math, median, middle, mode, most. Don't get them confused, and I think it's pretty straightforward. So let's first look at this data set. It's just straightforward, and then the other ones will be in the deliverable on the table. But I'll do a video for it, so if you can just follow along if you need to. Find the mean. So again, that means math, right? So you got to add all these up. And you have a calculator, so just take a second, pause the video, add them all. I'm just going to say, hey, math equals 81.7 once I add them all, because I'm not going to sit here and do math with you, okay? Then let's count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So your n, your number of times they occur, is 12. So to get the mean, just so you know, it's a kind of like a cursive U. I'll probably be using this notation a little bit later, but I did that on my calculator and I got 6.81. Always better to have more decimal points than less. So I always like 2 decimal places. If you are not sure how to round, give me 3. Okay? Just don't truncate it at 1. Don't round to the nearest whole number. Median means middle, right? But that means you have to put them all in order. So I'm going to start with my smallest number here, which is 6.4. And then I have a 6.5. Do I have any other 6.5s? Just one. And then I have a 6.7 and another 6.7 and another 6.7. Okay, and then I have a 6.8 here. And then I have a 6.9, 6.9. I'm running out of space. 7, 7, 7. What? So I have 3 sevens. And then a 7.1. So I didn't leave myself enough space. I should have started probably below or written smaller. Sorry about that. But now we're ready to find that middle number. So to find the middle number, you can, you know that there's 12, right? So you know there is no exact middle. So it's going to be the middle 2 numbers. Well, halfway between 12 is 6, right? So some people like to count. Other people are like, should I just cross off? 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And then you say, oh, these are my 2 numbers that are stuck in the middle, right? 6.8 and 6.9. So if I have 2 numbers, go back to the rule here. It says it's possible, you have to find the average of those 2 numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 6.8 plus 6.9 and divide it in half. If you're going to do this on your calculator, just make sure you put it in parentheses. Or you say, well, I know it's 6.85 because it's half a decimal place between. Either way is fine. But you got 6.85. So see what I mean? This is why it's so important that you don't just round, because what would that round to? 6.9 and then that's the mode? No. 6.8 if you truncate it? No. It's halfway between the two. 6.85. Okay? That's the median. Lastly is the mode. The mode is the one that occurs the most. So it's nice when it's in order like this already. So if I look up at this one, I see 6.7 occurs 3 times. 7 occurs 3 times also. 6.9 only occurs twice. So there's 2 numbers here that both occur the most. So which number do I write? It's a trick. You write both of them. 6.7 and 7 are both the mode because they both occur 3 times. Okay? Since you guys don't have your textbooks and I don't have mine home, I'm not going to bother doing these 2. They're actually just the same as these. I'd rather move on to the frequency tables. Okay, so this is the worksheet or the deliverable for today. So if you haven't downloaded it or printed it, pause the video so that you can follow along and do it with me. But like I said, I'm going to show you it in form of a table. This is a frequency table now. So this is like, it doesn't give me any, what these numbers represent. But say these were, ages, right? Then you have 6 people that are 2 years old. 4 people that are 8, 7 people that are 9. So frequency is the number of times that number shows up, okay? Rather than writing it all out, 2, 2, 2, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then, you know what I mean, 8 4 times, which is totally fine. You can do that. You can add them all up. You can find them in median mode that way. I just posted a video from YouTube, somebody else using the calculator to make it easier. Okay, so I'm going to tell you real quick how to do it, but if you go to Stat, Edit, you type this into your L1, type this into your L2. Then you're going to do a stat, one variable stats, and then type in your L1, L2. It will give you the mean and the median. It just doesn't give you the mode. Okay, but what I want to focus on is, what if you don't know how to do it on the calculator? How can I still do this by hand? Okay, so first off, frequency is this. So how many total items are in this whole table here? Well, this is 10, 17, 26, 30. So there's 30 total, okay? To get the mean, remember, it's X bar or that mu. We use both in stats. You're going to add them all up and divide. So how many 2s are there? 6. Plus, how many 8s are there? 4. Plus, how many 9s are there? 7. Plus, 12. There's 9 of those. I ran out of space again. I'm so bad at this. Plus 15, and there's 4 of those. Add that all up. I think I got 281. Just kidding, I just did it again, and I got 275. Okay, so to get the mean, remember, I'll come right above it. You do 275 divided by the number of total there are. So 275 divided by 30, I got 9.167. So I'm just going to say 9.17. I did it on my calculator as well, doing just the stat edit. L1 is my X values and the frequency in L2, and I get the exact same number. So it's just a way to check. Okay. On the calculator, when I got the median, the middle number, it was, I'm going to do it again real quick, comma L2. Median is MED, it is 9. Okay, but if you list it, and that means this number right here, right? So it's the middle number. Now, if you remember, the middle number is, 15 would be halfway, right? So this is 10 plus another 5 puts me in the middle here. This is 13 plus another 2 puts me in the middle here. So if you did it by hand, you should still see that you end up in this middle portion. There were 7 9s, so it's going to be the number 9. Okay, so doing it by hand or doing it by the calculator, guys, doesn't really matter. But those two you can get on the calculator if you can remember those steps. And the video is going to be there. So even if you have a quiz on this, when you have an assessment, it's right there. Mode, your calculator doesn't give the mode. At least my old school one doesn't. I don't know if your new ones do. But it's just the one that occurs the most. So what number here, whoops, I shouldn't have done that. What number here is the biggest? 6, 4, 7, 9, 4. 9 is the biggest number. So that means 12 is your mode, right? Because 12 occurred the most. There were the most amount of kids were 12 years old. Does that make sense? So don't tell me 9. That's the frequency. These are the numbers, the values that you should be using. So the 9.17 means average age, assuming this was age, right? The median is 9 years old. It has nothing to do with this frequency side. And then the mode is 12 years old. Does that make sense? So let's look at another one. Again, if you prefer to do it on the calculator, totally fine. This goes into your L1. This goes into your L2. And then you just do a stat. I believe it's number 1. It's a 1 variable stat. If you have the older calculator, you have to actually type in L1, L2. If you have the newer one, I think it automatically defaults. But if not, you would need to make sure L1 and L2 are there. X bar is your median, is your mean. Your median, you would have to scroll down. It would be the MED. Mode is the one that occurs the most. So let's look for that first. This is your frequency chart on this side. So what number is the biggest? Well, if you ask me, 20 is the biggest number, right? So that means whatever this number is across from it occurred the most. So what number occurred the most? 30. Okay. The median is your middle number. So if we added all this up, this is what? 15. This is another 15. That's 30. This is 50. That's 57. Okay. And halfway between 57 is 28. So 28 is going to put me where? 15 and then another 20. It's going to put me in here. So my median should be 30 as well. And then the mean would be all of these added up divided by 57. Or if I just use my calculator, you get it that way as well. So I just did the stat way and got 28.42, it looks like. But if you added them all up, you get a big number, 1620, and then 1620 divided by 57 should be the same thing. Yep, 28.42. So either way, the mean is 28.42, median is 30, and the mode is 30. Okay, one more time as a chart. Your choice which way you like better. Honestly, I think it's a little bit faster if I just type it in the calculator. So that's what I'm going to do. But mode, you cannot use the calculator, so let's do that. Mode is the one that occurs the most. Look at your frequency column. What number is the biggest? 8, 20, 40, 50, 55. 55 is the biggest number, which means the number that occurred the most is the one across from it, 50. Okay? The other two I'm going to get off the calculator. So I'm going to type in everything here into my L1. Everything here into my L2. And then I'll do a stat. One variable stats. So the good thing is the left column stay the same, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I just need to change L2 to 8, 20, 40, 50, 55. Then I'm going to go to stat, arrow over to calc, do my one variable stats. Be sure to select L1, L2, and then hit enter. When I do that, I see X bar is 37.167, so I'm going to round that. The sum of all of these, so if you were like, no, I need to do it the long way, they added up to 6430, and there are 173, so you should still get the same answer if you do it that way. And then if you just scroll down, my median is 40. Okay, so that's using the calculator or doing it by hand. You should get the same answers. Okay, the last one, this was similar to the one in the notes. So we're getting the notes and all of the deliverable done in 20 minutes if you're following along. If you need a little bit more time, that's totally fine as well. So the first thing you want to do is add them all up. So to get X bar, just put in little plus signs here so you know that you're adding them and type it in the calculator. Okay. And it looks like when I added all of those up, I got 182. And remember, we're going to divide by the total number of terms there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So divide that by 12. Then you get 182 divided by 12, 15.17. And then the median you would get by lining them all up. So just be careful when you relist them. Looks like I have a 12 here and a 12 here. So 12, 12. Next would be 13, just one of them. And then a 14, just one of them. And then 15, 1, 2. And then 16, I've got 1, 2, 3. 16, 16, 16, 17, just got the 1, and then 18, 18, it looks like I have 2. I'm just going to double check that I actually have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do. So now I can list and see which one comes up the most. So let's see, 12 comes up twice, 13's only once, 14's once, 15 is twice. Oh, but 16 is 3 times. So this is the most. I'm doing. My kids are talking to me. I was on median, wasn't I? And I just gave you guys the mode. Sorry about that. Okay. So, and I'm writing the wrong thing. The mode is 16 because it occurs the most. Okay, but you wanted to find the median. So we're saying the median of 12. Now remember, 6 is the middle number, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. There is no middle of an even, so now I'm stuck and I say, uh-oh, there's these two numbers. What do I need to do if there's two middle numbers? Add them together and divide in half. So 31 divided by 2 is 15.5. I mean, pretty obvious. You hopefully could say, okay, yeah, I know halfway between 15 and 16 is 15.5. Okay, so there are your notes. There is your deliverable. The only thing you have to turn in is this worksheet, which is posted. Okay.